Well, hello everyone. This is Sinette Natura Angela. Welcome to the City of Healing. Hope all is well with everyone. Wanted to come forth and do a brief share, if you don't mind, to talk a little bit about the full moon and the effects and the spirit animal, the bat. And first of all, I just want to say that the full moon was, of course, beautiful as usual, and we didn't actually see physically the moon on that day, but you can definitely feel the energy. We didn't see it because it was just so cloudy, and I did a video, showing all the clouds. It was the wind, it was some thunder as well, but it was still very powerful. I did, however, see the moon the next day. She even winked at me. But I got it on video. Maybe I'll share it at another point. But just thinking about that walk, I wanted to share again that experience, as well as talk about the spirit animal of the bat. And it has so many metaphysical meanings, and that you can actually apply in itself in day-to-day life. And particularly, I want to say that the spirit animal, of course, of the bat does address and unravels the spiritual mysteries of the night. And I will always tell people that we are both night and the light. And myself, I know I'm not all light, and I think I'm more identify more with the dark or the night than the day. Although I do love both, and I do feel I incorporate both. But the beauty of incorporating the night is also important, in unraveling the mysteries of the night. And also the bat, as we know, we've heard that they are basically blind, and so they rely heavily on their instincts and their internal organism to feel their way around and to adjust to the night and the day. Now, these bats that I mentioned in my video, they do follow me around during my evening walk. It's usually two in the front and two in the back. And sometimes the two in the back don't necessarily stay around, but the two in the front, I constantly see them, but they don't. In the video, they were flying very high, like up into, the clouds. And it was more than four this time, but definitely four are around me continuously when I'm going for my walk. And, they're just not around me. I'm just the only one that probably talks about it and basically highlights the experience more than others, but it's just not me that they follow, I don't think. I heard other neighbors talking about, the bats. And we don't, I believe, have a heavy infestation of them, but they definitely are in our neighborhood. And I appreciate them because I kind of consider them as my bodyguard. They never harm me. I don't feel threatened by them. I actually feel pretty safe, and I talk with them. So there's nothing wrong with bats as far as I am considered. Also, like I mentioned, they are telepathic, and it reminds us to trust our instincts. And off the subject a little bit more as far as the bats, is that I feel sometimes all animals, especially spiritual guide animals, aren't necessarily that animal, but they are shape shifters from spirit guides or spiritual teachers that come forth to teach us lessons or protect us, etc. So that's another, when I see a bat, I just don't want to say, hey, that's a bat. I think of other things as well. And also they help basically code hidden messages of the universe. Even, I don't know if anyone noticed, if you looked at the video, I was looking for, someone mentioned that there were planets, and the bat, as you notice, he flew around so that I could actually see the light spot in between the clouds to show what I thought was Jupiter. And that was very interesting as well. So they help decode mysteries and help you find certain mysteries if you are amped to actually identifying and actually following your instincts to trust what they're saying. So that's just an aspect to consider as well. And also freeing ourselves from fixed beliefs. It helps us broaden our minds and not just see all light, because I guess there are some people that are all love and light, but I am not. I don't necessarily preach negativity, of course, and I think there's a balance, and I think that's what it's about, a balance, and that's what I will continue to work on, and just identifying with my light and my dark, because the dark helps you get through the night so that you can get to the light. And that's what the spiritual journey is all about. It's not all about blessings and love and all of that, not from my experience, and I haven't really honestly seen the experience of anyone else's as well that I really felt was the total honest truth. And one of the other final things I want to mention about bats is that sometimes they get in your house, and there's usually a bat in our house every year. And I've been in that house about 15 years, and the house was built in the late 80s, so it's not really old house. But sometimes bats get caught, at least one bat once a year, just around the springtime. And a couple of times the kids have been in the house, and they of course wreaked havoc, because they associate the bat with spiritual negativity, that they were evil, or vampires, and they'll bite you and give you rabies, etc., etc. But I just basically, in the midst of the screaming, just open the door, and eventually the bat flies out. But this year, I opened my door and I saw the bat flying around. I was like, oh goodness, it startled me a little bit. But eventually, opening the door and talking to the bat, he finally left, no problem whatsoever. So like I said, every year. But finding a bat in your house, for me, I've noticed, are basically what some of us call ghosts, or a spiritual being significance or presence. So if that happens to you, that's what I would associate it with. Also, sometimes, I don't know about anyone else, I've gotten a strong, this has been a while, I haven't had it lately, probably about the last time was probably like 8 years ago. No one was home, so I opened my door, went into my home, and I couldn't stay there because I felt this strong negative presence in the house. So I quickly ran out. I was just like, all of a sudden something hit me, run. And that's exactly what I did. And that's happened before. And one time I just stayed with it and just felt the presence. And when I came outside, there was a bat swimming around the house. So bats, like I said, especially when they're in your house or around your house, signifies a spiritual presence, whether it be negative or positive, whatever your energy or whatever you read from the energy is probably exactly what it is. But as I said before, let love guide you, not fear. And that's the spiritual meaning of the bat for me. A lot of other different people, metaphysical teachers, spiritual teachers like Flor Braun and Aset from Lucid Living talked about the convergence of time. I didn't necessarily get that experience this time as strongly. However, I do identify with and appreciate it, but I didn't get that this time. But I find it awesome that lately that my kids are listening to a lot of old music from the 70s and the 80s, and I hear other kids listening to it too. Maybe it's a thing to do, but I just found it was like, what do you know about this music? It's like, what do you mean? It's like they know the music. It's like I don't really play that type of music a lot, but some reason they were listening to it. Very interesting. But that's basically the only convergence of time. If you get a chance to look at the videos and see what I'm talking about, maybe you identify with it. But that basically was um, my meaning, or my gift from the full moon this year. Just a lot of heavy emotions as usual, and identifying with the spirit animal of the bat, and then trusting my instincts and embracing the dark side of me, my dark spiritual side, to get through that so that I can get to the light, and not fearing the negative aspect of the night is very, very strong and key for me. So I just wanted to come forth and say that. Of course, I'm going to say something about the full moon. If anybody knows anything about me, that's something that I really love, is the moon. If I were ever to get a tattoo, which I don't have any, it would be of the moon, or I'll get it shaved into my head, something. But anyway, that's my share for today. Hopefully it meant something to you. I just wanted to come forth and share that, and I hope that you all have a beautiful Sunday. Take care and stay blessed.